everyone to the 19th Contra Costa County Swim Championship. Super glad you could join us. Good driving. Welcome.
I think you could say that for many hundreds, maybe thousands of families in this area, swimming is the summer. You know, if you weren't part of the swim program, you probably don't live in this area.
My first memories of the swim team are probably when I had to do no breathers, and I would always cry before them because I was never able to do them during practice.
And me and my brothers were super scared because we'd never swam before, only like splashed around in the baby pool. And then my little brother was particularly really scared, and my mom had to throw him into the pool, and he was crying and screaming, but she just had to get him in there.
Started here in 1967 right there in lane 5, and my career began with a swift kick from my mother into the square of my back because I refused.
I hated the water actually, didn't want to be on a swim team at all.
At that age, I was just trying to get across the pool. I was probably the worst kid on the relay.
Oh, when we first started swim team, I think it was kind of overwhelming of all the things that you had to do and the practices and the meets that you had no clue where to go, what to do. And then cheering for your child for only so many seconds, it's like, what are we doing?
It was quite surprising to me when we moved here because I had no idea, I had never heard of it before, and we had a fair number of parents coming up saying, hey, you need to join this team or that team.
I was at a neighborhood party and my neighbor Aaron Davis came to me and he said, what's Jake gonna do this summer? And then I said, I don't know, stay out of trouble and read. And he said, well, he should join the swim team. Everybody in the neighborhood, their kids are on the swim team. And I said, I don't know, my kid's kind of uncoordinated and I don't want to humiliate him and make him feel bad. And he's like, no. It's all about wherever you are, it's okay. They will train you from whatever point you are. So I came home and I said, you're gonna take swim team. And he looked at me and he went, what? Then he walked up the steps and walked away and I thought, oh God, what have I done?
This area, first of all, had some good recreation programs. Orinda had one, Lafayette had one, Walnut Creek had one, so that's the beginning of the team swimming thing. And as they built new neighborhoods, each one of the new neighborhoods had their own little swim clubs. Every time some housing development came at the pool, so that's how the numbers grew.
This is where I fell in love with my coaches. This is where I fell in love with swimming, the rec environment where people are always up there and everybody's cheering for each other and everyone knows everybody and it's just it's a family.
The Woodland swim team it's like a mini community. There are a lot of traditions that the older kids and even the younger kids take part of. It's a great way to meet kids, for me at least, because I don't go to the same school as most of them.
We first got connected when I was 8 years old. She actually came up to me at practice and we've been best friends ever since.
Awesome.
Yeah, I met her. My dad said that we had a new swimmer on the team and that I should go meet her because she was my age. So I did, and now we're here.
9-10 warm up, everybody in the water. And I see my kid jump in the water and I see him swim with one arm across the pool like he's wounded and he's doing a crawl or something. And I was mortified because I thought, oh, if he jumps in the water and he does this, like 300 people are going to be staring at him and think he's some weird child.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just wasn't that good. You know, normal kids, they would do 2 laps. It would take them at most maybe between 40 and 50 seconds. It would take me a minute and a half.
So I got up and I see this young man walk by me, and he has this like fried blonde hair, and he's wearing this white polo shirt, and I kind of just grabbed his sleeve and I went, "You, Andrew, see that kid? He's only swimming with one arm. Go fix it." And he just kind of looked at me sort of petrified and yet sort of like amused and went, "Okay." And he sort of went off and talked to Jake, and at the end of the time trials, Jake said, "Well, he seems nice. Can I have a lesson with him?" And I went, "Yes." And I learned this valuable lesson that when they make a connection, write it for all it's worth.
See, listen, it's more than just swimming. It's more than just competition. It's raising your family in a super healthy environment that teaches life skills that will matter to your families for the rest of their life.
I think that one of the things that direct swimming has going for it is, number one, it's co-ed, and number two, there's a broad age spectrum.
Very few other sports can make that connection. 4-year-olds training with 18-year-olds, going to activities with various ages, girls and guys. It's just such a healthy thing.
I loved swimming because I liked my teammates, and I liked the fun part of it and the social part of it and the fact that all my friends swam. And so when I was little, I wasn't extremely into all of like going fast. And it wasn't until I was 12, 13, 14 that I really started to realize that I could do it if I tried and that I could make county and everything. And so it took a while to get there, but I did.
How do you make an individual sport into a team sport? Well, we're a group of individuals going for a common team goal, the championships, okay? And each person plays a part.
So the team aspect of swimming, I think, is huge, especially at a larger scale. You start with Coach Brad. Which is a prime example, the head coach. Known him since I've started, and I think he's also the person that kind of drew me back each year. And I mean, it's just the people that are above you, you look up to them. So when I was small, I'd look up to the coaches that were a couple years older than me, and then it's kind of a ladder, you move up a rank, and then the other kids come up and they look up to you, and you become you create connections and bonds and friendships. And
I said, you have to be the most important person in their life for the summer or whatever when you're coaching. They have to look forward to coming to practice where they're going to get bleached, chlorinated, and worked, and it has to be fun, okay? And that's on you as a coach.
I had one mini stinger, which is like a 4-year-old little girl who I taught how to swim, and now she's a 7-8 on the swim team, and it's been so fun just watching her grow up and learn how to swim and get really good at it as well.
What was the hardest thing for you to learn to do?
Hardest thing to learn to do. I did not know how to dive. I could, if someone told me that I needed to learn how to properly dive in order to save someone's life, they'd be dead. I literally could not dive to save my life. So for, I'd say 2.5 years, maybe it was 3 years, I was poorly doing it. But he's like, just do this. And he was getting really tired, but he really wanted to see if I could succeed at this. So I did it. And he just was like, oh my God, he did it. Jake did a dive, oh my God. And there was a parent at the time named Jennifer Linderdone who was watching me, and she texted my mom who was, I think she was having like a dentist appointment or something like that. And Jake can dive, and they videotaped it, and it was fantastic.
It was one of those moments as a coach where like 3 years worth of work finally started coming together, if not more. And it was just a rewarding moment because I knew it meant that much more to him than it did to me.
Coaching to me it's all about relationships. To me, I love swimming, but I'm not a swim junkie. think the biggest goal for the teams that I coach is to build a good culture, respect for each other, a good work ethic, have fun together. And I think if you do those things, the winning is a byproduct of it. And I found that if you focus on that, you're going to get success in a myriad of ways.
Swimming is one of the things that the family can take your 4-year-old and to 18-year-old and all be involved in the same team and same activity. That really made it a lot easier for the parents as well, so that the concentration of activity was all around swim pools.
Being a parent's the most stressful thing you can do as a swim family, because I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. I'm responsible for getting them on the blocks. I am responsible for making sure that they eat and that they know what stroke they're gonna do when they jump in the pool. So being a parent is the hardest of all the jobs that I've had at the meet. Being the swimmer was the easiest. Being a coach was fun. It was a lot of work, but it was mostly fun. Being a parent, it's also incredibly rewarding and fun, but it's a little bit more work than all the other ones. But there's nothing better than seeing your kid improve over the summer, make new friends, build confidence. So that's been a great experience.
What was impressive that I later found out, which I didn't understand in the beginning because I was not familiar with it. At first I thought everybody's paid. I thought everyone is paid. I mean, why would you spend so much time and energy and all that? So gradually, because I'm a very late bloomer when it comes to cultural things, gradually I understood, oh yeah, these are the things I should do. And guess what? They are not paid. I mean, I was blown away. I still am. How can such an organization, I mean, I think it took me about 6 years to understanding that the swim meets are a voluntary organization. The scale of it was just impressive. I had never seen anything like it.
I really believe I became a teacher because it fits my coaching schedule, and it's what I take the most satisfaction out of. It's what I wake up thinking about, what I go to bed thinking about. It's the connection that you make to the kid in some way that allows them to buy into what you're doing, and that's how you make the connection outside of the pool. So they see you as a person and not just this authoritative figure telling them what they need to do, but they know that you care about them, and you know that you care more about them outside the water than what they're doing for you inside the water.
Right.
We have 2 traditions when trying to be initiated as a night rider. The first one is becoming a human Sunday. So just like being covered and drenched in chocolate sauce is one of my best memories. And then also the second initiation that we do is when we go on a camping trip, we go in a lake swim in Lake Tahoe, like when it's like 9 p.m. after like our annual night hike. So swimming there in like freezing cold lake water was probably the second memory of my swimming career.
I think the night riders are so special because they not only put on our traditions and teach the younger generation about them, but they also, like for me, I learned a lot of leadership. We learn how to build relationships, and it's really what makes the team become a family. It's really special when you're little for a night rider to come tell you good job after your race, or for them to visit you or TV you at night. And we all got that when we were little, and it was this big special thing. And so now that we get to do that for the younger kids on the team, it makes it just really cool to get like that full circle.
Growing up here in this area in Indian Valley was different than anywhere else in the world, to tell you the truth. I mean, we were lucky enough to grow up in a bubble of time that I don't think could be replicated. I mean, I try to tell people stories about how we used to roll, 30 deep with an age group that differentiated by 15 years, and we would all roll together all summer long, running around the streets, up in the open space.
spanned beyond the pool too. I mean, it wasn't just on the pool deck, it was down at the bus stop. It was a very special place and a very special time with a bunch of very special families.
So, it was this wonderful transition period where, it was still normal to jump out of the tree or off the roof, and I think it kind of like lended itself to this, really enjoying life a bit. But as these two guys were saying, it was a special time. It was a special group of people. It was a convergence.
The county meet was set up sometime in the early 60s, I believe 60, 61. Different teams, the different coaches, I guess, decided, let's have a big meet and get all the county swimmers together and have what you now call the county meet. And, for a kid to swim and make county, so to speak, was a big deal, and that's how I got started.
Yeah, the county meet really is the sort of the impetus that runs this entire rec swimming world that we live in. It's always been the primary goal for coaches and swimmers to first qualify for county. It measures your ability to be against the very best age group swimmers in this area. And even though we all have different leagues and cities and whatnot, conferences, I think county still, even today, is very relevant. So people are drawn to that. And I think it helps grow rec swimming because it gives people that don't know any better the feeling that it's not some rinky-dink, backyard pool thing. It's something that's competitive enough to give their kids a great opportunity to grow as an athlete.
Let's put it in economic terms. It was an investment. It was money, it was time, it was effort. A lot of times their summer revolved around this. Summer swimming? Really? There had to be value. It had to be worthwhile. Now that might be looking at it too grandiose, but basically if you want to, another way is to look at just, we had fun. We had a great summer.
So what I like about the swimming for my kids, I think, is that they learn so much about sportsmanship and being in a team, and also like the practices, not only thinking about the meets, but every day they've been waking up and they just go. It's like, it's in their system. They won't even whine or cry or ask me, can I stay home? Or they just go. That's for me, pretty impressive. And I think, to be honest, I like the competitiveness about it too.
So everybody has a rival or a couple rivals, but generally speaking, you get along pretty well. And you meet people that you would never meet if it weren't for this culture.
It's funny, Jake's mom and I were talking not too long ago, and she reminded me that somehow I've been to every major graduation to date, assuming that the most recent one happens in some capacity. I mean, I was there when he graduated 5th grade. I was there when he graduated middle school. I was there when he graduated high school. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be there when you
whenever it is, at 30 years old.
Is at this point, when COVID ends. But I mean, it's that kind of thing where it's definitely not about the pool. It was about seeing a awesome young man grow up.
The friendship mostly you build from it, and it's not really a sport where it's really competitive, especially here. It's just more for the fun. And while you can make it as competitive as you want, it's just a fun thing to do, and just have fun with your friends.
I think the biggest thing that I learned from swimming is that if you work hard and you put time into coming to the pool every morning at 8 a.m. and swimming for an hour and a half during your summers, which a lot of kids do not like doing. You see and feel yourself getting better, and I mean, that was how it worked for me. I started off as a very slow swimmer and eventually worked my way into the top 10s of OMPA, which I thought was a great feat for me, and I really thought that was the reason why I swam, because I wanted to get to that level of swimming.
Like, it's hard waking up in the morning, but it's fun because, you know, not everyone else wants to be there too. They'd rather be sleeping, but we all show up for swim practice because we all want to get better. And so I'm gonna miss like that team spirit and like team camaraderie of going to practice every morning.
But the friends that have been here with me since I was 9 years old, they're like family, and I see them all the time, and I love being around them, and they're just a permanent part of my life, which I really like.
As a parent, especially as a single parent, when you think, please God, I don't want to miss anything. Please let me make sure that I teach him everything he's supposed to know. So that's what swimming really provided, was that sort of extra set of eyes and hands, and, you know, we're in it together. It might not take a village, but it could take a definitely good swim coach to help you out.
Trying to explain it to somebody who hasn't grown up here, they kind of look at you, go like, yeah, right, well, you know what, you didn't grow up here, you don't know, because trust me, it was magic. It was magic.